In this lesson, I'm going to share 10 camera angles for cooking videos with a bonus one at the end. And I want to thank Click for sponsoring this video. One thing that I really want you to understand about this lesson is where you put your camera is where you put your viewer. And knowing this will help you create a certain feeling in your videos when selecting a specific style shot and what angle you go with when you film. A wide shot is typically used to establish a location, and it's usually captured on a wider angle lens. You actually don't see this too often in cooking videos unless maybe the filming was taking place at a restaurant or something, and you wanted to establish this with the viewer by showing an exterior shot of the location. A medium shot is typically framed from the waist up and helps the viewer focus on that person speaking or cooking while on camera. This is a very popular shot because it gives the viewer a similar feeling as if you were sitting right across from them and having a conversation, kind of like this. A close-up shot is often used to help the viewer focus on something specific or important in the video, like an appliance or an ingredient. Typically, a close-up shot would be best filmed with the 3x zoom telephoto camera option on the iPhone or Samsung S23 Ultra. If I wanted to fill the frame of my shot with whatever I'm prepping, most people might just bring their phone closer to the prep table and the ingredients. But what that also does, it makes it feel like the viewer is also closer to the prep table as well. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing if that's what your goal is. For me personally, I would prefer to zoom in by selecting the telephoto lens. If you notice, I'll compose the ingredients and frame them the same, but the shots themselves feel different with the different focal lengths. Here's a more dramatic example. Here's a shot using the 0.5x ultra-wide 13mm lens at about 6 inches away. And here's the 3x telephoto 77mm lens at 4 feet away. In the wide shot, it feels like your face is right up against the ingredient with the ultra-wide lens, and it feels like you're standing further away with the telephoto lens. You'll also notice and see way more of the background in the wide lens, and the kitchen looks huge. It almost looks a little distorted. It also looks like these ingredients are like 20 feet away from the back of the wall behind them. But with the telephoto lens, you'll see a lot less of the background, and the background looks a little bit closer compared to the wide shot. I personally like the look of my telephoto lens for my prepping and cooking shots, and it gives a more cinematic feel because it helps create depth in your shots when you put things in your foreground and in your background. Another reason I like it is because I can set my phone back a little bit further from my cooking surface to avoid food splattering all over my equipment. One thing I would highly recommend avoiding is pinching or zooming in with your fingers on your phone. This is just digitally zooming in on your camera, and it instantly drops the image quality. You'll just want to switch between the main cameras on the phone and nothing in between. When selecting a camera on the screen, hit the 0.5x, 1x, or 3x option. This is switching to a completely different camera and lens on the back of the phone with different image optics. It's not digitally zooming in on the image. An extreme close-up is another way of putting importance on something in the shot. You might often use an extreme close-up when showing the viewer how you do something, like cut an onion or a chili pepper, for example. You might also use an extreme close-up to show the cook on a steak after you cut it, or a perfect bite on a spoon before you eat it. And these are the types of shots that are best captured using a telephoto camera or lens as well. A macro shot is a very special style shot that does often require a special lens to be able to capture it. This is an extremely close-up shot that almost looks as if you're using a magnifying glass to film it. This is a creative style shot that the viewer might find interesting because it's not something that the normal human eye sees. Before we jump into the different camera angles, I wanted to share a new way that I'm monetizing my recipes and hosting my live streams thanks to today's sponsor. Click is the best way for food creators to build and launch their own custom mobile app. And having your own app is a great way to earn passive income as a cooking creator. You could sell digital products or downloads like recipes, ebooks, or courses. You could also set subscriptions, donations, run paid live streams, add all of your affiliate links, and post other gated content. Click is a user-friendly platform that requires no coding or technical expertise. You can connect with your audience right away, and it provides many features and tools to create a custom branded app experience. It also allows many ways to engage with your audience, such as the community feed for polls, voice notes, and comments. Click also provides detailed analytics that help you track your content's performance and revenue. It's the best mobile app builder for food creators looking to turn their audience and content into a thriving business. And the best part about it all is that there are no upfront costs to launch your app. So if you want to launch your own app in days, not months, check out the description of this video for more information. And I'll also have a link to my Click app if you wanted to check that out as well. Let's jump right back into those camera angles. Now, when it comes to camera angles, this is where you can really affect the point of view of the person that's watching your video. A standard straight-on shot looks just like how it sounds. The camera is pointed straight forward as you're filming, and as the viewer, it feels like you're just standing there watching. This is best used for your on-camera talking and cooking shots. A high-angle shot is when you have your camera up high and it's pointing down onto whatever it is that you're filming. This is often used for when you're prepping or cutting your ingredients, adding and mixing things in a bowl, cooking your food, and plating. If your camera is up high, it makes it feel like the viewer is standing at the prep table and looking down on your cutting board. And the lower you put your camera, the lower it makes the viewer feel they are to the ground or prep table. Which brings me to the angle that I unofficially call the eye level shot. This is where you would place your camera at about the same height as your counter or prep table, and it makes your viewer feel like they are at eye level with your cutting board. A top-down shot is another popular camera angle that is best used for when you're filming things like prepping ingredients or cooking in a deep pot, because you're able to see inside of the pot better from up top. It's also one of the hardest shots to capture in cooking videos because it requires special equipment to hold your phone and also be able to monitor your shot when it's above your head. You also have to deal with things like steam coming up from out of the pan and fogging up your lens. Part of this video is one of over 80 video lessons in my Cooking Creators course. I'll teach you everything there is to know about how to plan, film, and edit cooking videos with just your smartphone. There's also modules teaching social media strategy to grow a following, and a module talking about ways to monetize your recipes and get brand deals. I'll have a link in the description if you're interested, and if you stay till the end of this video, I'll have a discount code on the screen that can save you an additional 20% off. You can combine any of the wide, medium, close-up, or extreme close-up shots with any of these angles to create more dynamic looking shots in your cooking videos. The POV, or point of view angle, is a very unique perspective, and it makes the viewer feel like they are the person actually cooking the food. Kenji Lopez uses this shot often in his cooking content, and the way to capture this is by strapping your camera to your forehead. My friend Steven actually does this with a GoPro. He has like a GoPro mouth mount. When it comes to my cooking videos, I like to get a combination of different camera angles and shots to cut between to create a more engaging video. I'll talk more about how I plan some of these shots ahead of time in the shot list video lesson of this module. Now, I know everyone's kitchen is different, so you might not be able to get the same exact angles that everyone else does when it comes to prepping, mixing, baking, cooking, or plating your food. In the production module of this course, I will do my best to cover every possible kitchen layout scenario when it comes to filming each step of the recipe video. And I'll show you where you can place your tripod, phone, and lights to get the best angle for each shot. I'll catch you in the next lesson.